This is another video about cheats. Whether you've just downloaded The Sims 2 and thought, now how the hell do you even navigate this? Or you're an old player but yet unaware of all the ways you could unlock those magical opportunities that grant you way more freedom and creativity than before, I think you might find something useful you want to implement into your gameplay here. I'm going to show you the cheat codes that I think are absolutely essential for playing The Sims 2. And I am talking about a lot more than just model load and such. Now, most of these cheats work best if you have them start up automatically when you start the game, so you won't have to type them in every time. If you want to know how to do that, I made a video on it that you can find up here. And one more important note, some of these cheats are expansion pack specific. I'm going to tell you with each cheat if they require a certain pack, and if you don't have that pack or the Ultimate Collection, you may not be able to use that cheat. Alright, so I will start with build and buy mode cheats, because I think those are the most crucial to a good Sims 2 experience, especially if you've only played The Sims 3 or 4 before, because in this case you might find building and furnishing in The Sims 2 to be too restricted. But luckily there are some easy workarounds, so let's start. First up is bullprop allow 45-degree angle of rotation true. I don't think there's a reason to have this set to false like ever. It lets you rotate objects diagonally just like you are able to in later games by default. But after applying this cheat, you will only be able to use it with the rotating keys on your keyboard. Sadly, it doesn't work if you just drag the item with your mouse. You can use this cheat if you have pets, nightlife, open for business, or university installed. Bullprop quarter tile placement enabled true. This one breaks the strict whole tile grid system of The Sims 2. You can place things on half or quarter tiles, and this way it grants you more freedom while furnishing or decorating your houses. To get it to work, you have to type in the cheat, press enter, and then press Ctrl and F on your keyboard to turn it on. The same way you can turn it off by pressing Ctrl and F again. This cheat came with Mansion and Garden Stuff, the last pack released for The Sims 2. If you don't have it or the Ultimate Collection, the next cheat may be a good alternative for you. Bullprop snap objects to grid off. This one's available since the base game. Having it set to off does the same thing as pressing Alt while placing objects in The Sims 4. So it allows you to put objects outside of the grid system completely. It doesn't work on surfaces such as tables, counters, dressers, as those usually only have one or two fixed slots on them that you can place objects on. So if you want to fill your surfaces with clutter, you can use mods for that. This cheat I only use when absolutely necessary, so like placing wall decoration. You can switch back to normal by setting the cheat back to on. Bullprop constraint floor elevation false. This one set to false allows you to elevate the ground even if it already has floor tiles or walls on it. I am not a great builder, so I can't exactly show you how, but apparently this is how you can build like underground garages. Again, this one's available since the base game. Move objects on. You probably know this one if you've played other Sims games before. If you turn it on, you're able to move and delete objects that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. For example, things that are in use, debug items, Sims, the mailbox, and the bin. You can also place things pretty much everywhere within a lot, without Sims, walls, or terrain standing in your way. Just be cautious not to delete anything important like the mailbox. If you delete a sim, they will appear again when you reload the lot. Now, all of these object placing cheats usually don't cause a problem when your sims are trying to use those objects, except when the route is blocked, which is quite a common problem in The Sims 2. But I also happen to know that some objects don't work if they are rotated diagonally. For example, the painting easel. There is one more thing I want to mention here in the building part. These aren't exactly cheat codes, but it felt like I had discovered new cheats when these tricks finally occurred to me. You can switch between slots when placing an object on a surface by pressing the M key. And you can also move things up and down a wall by pressing the bracket keys on an American keyboard or whatever else is there on your keyboard. For me, they are definitely not brackets. Now let's move on to gameplay cheats, and let's get this one out of the way first, shall we? Foolproof testing cheats enabled true. You probably know by now that this one does many different things, but the most important things that I use it for are the following. Forcing errors. When a sim or an object seems stuck, you can press Shift and click on them and click Force Error. And when the window pops up, you can choose Reset or Delete, depending on what you want to do with that object. I use this a lot for deleting things that I want to sell, but I don't want to get money for. This is a strange way of managing finances, I guess. But it's also useful for when you want to immediately cancel something your sim is doing. Next thing I use it for is making sims selectable. Hold Shift and click on your sim and find Make Selectable. You can also use this to summon, for example, the tombstone of life and death. With this object, you can do stuff like get your sim pregnant by aliens or get your sim pregnant by anybody else in the neighborhood instantly. But my absolute favorite feature of this cheat is being able to drag pretty much anything on your sim's panel up and down. Their motives, their skills, their personality points, their relationships with other sims, their hobbies, their interests. Now feels like the best time to say that I don't use cheats to make the game easier for myself, because the way I play, there isn't really any big objective that I would want to cheat my way towards. I actually play for storytelling, and being able to change things about your sims easily is a very useful tool in storytelling. For example, when I create a new adult sim to move into my neighborhood, I obviously want this sim to already have some skills, and I also want to be able to adjust their interests because the game kind of randomizes those when a new sim is created. I like to create my sims carefully in detail, so that involves changing some things about them that the game otherwise wouldn't allow you to change. But back to the cheat code. To get the best effect, so to be able to actually drag your sim's motives and different points, you will need to type this cheat in on the neighborhood screen. So before you load up a lot. Or you can have this start up automatically, and that way you won't have to think about it. Next one is max motives. Not too complicated, it just maxes out the needs of all sims and pets on the lot. Well, temporarily. If you also want to stop their needs from going down, you will have to use motif decay off, but this one disables free will for some reason. Again, I only use this one when I have a good reason to. To use this cheat, you have to have nightlife, open for business or pets installed. Int prop max num of visiting sims. Now, I guess you could say this one is a true must-have. Well, unless your sim lives in isolation, never invites anyone over, never throws parties, and never goes to community lots. Which I know doesn't sound that alien in the year 2021, but anyway. Here's the thing, the game usually restricts how many sims you can have on a lot, based on your computer specs. It physically does not let you invite more sims to your parties than like 2. But with this cheat, you just type in a number of sims you want on your lots, and this way you will be able to invite a lot more sims. Not always exactly as many as you wrote in the cheat. I don't exactly know how it works, but I have my cheat set to 10, and usually I'm able to invite over 8 or 9 sims, and that's enough for me. Again, you'll have to type this cheat in while you're still on the neighborhood screen, so before you enter a lot. Now, this is the part where I would mention motherload, but I won't because this cheat works much better when it comes to finances. Family funds, household name, amount. This cheat is available if you have open for business, nightlife, or pets. So if you're a household, you open up the cheat bar, you type family funds and then the name of the household, which is usually their family name, and then the amount of money you want the household to have. Press enter and it will set to that amount. This cheat also works if you want to add or subtract to the funds of the family. You just have to put the plus or the minus character in front of the amount. But if you have multiple households in the neighborhood with the same name, it might not work and it may try to change the amount of money at the other household. So in these cases, you might have to stick to motherload, catching, or subtracting and adding money in different ways. And this is what I use force error deleting objects for. Aging off. This one's very simple. It disables aging for the current household until you turn it back on. So no sim on the lot will age at 6 p.m. and it also freezes pregnancies, so pregnant sims won't get more pregnant or give birth. This cheat has been there since the base game. Set hour. This one allows you to set the hour of the current day to pretty much anything you want, but I do not recommend using it just to skip downtime because it breaks the continuity of the day. NPCs like the maid will leave instantly if you set it too late, even if they got no work done during the day. And your Sims needs also won't change. And to skip nighttime, for example, you'd also have to manually change the day of the week. And one more thing I can certainly say is a problem with it is that if you set it to 6 p.m, so if you type set hour 18, your Sims don't age at that 6 p.m. They basically skip the part of the day when they're aging, even though you set it to 6 p.m, which is when they're supposed to be aging, but it just doesn't work for some reason. So if you want to skip to the part when they're aging, you may have to just set it to 17, so 5 p.m, and just wait an hour. This cheat is available if you have open for business or pets. Speaking of pets, here are some bonus pet cheats that I personally don't use but I think you might like. Bullprop pet action cancel true lets you cancel the actions of your pets. Bullprop control pets true lets you give orders to your pets as you would to your Sims. And Bullprop pets free will false disables autonomy for your pets so they don't have free will. If you have pets, the expansion pack, and also apartment life, these cheats work for apartment life roommates too. And last, here are some visual stuff that you may find useful. Plumb bob toggle. This toggles the plumb bob. You can make it disappear temporarily, but it will turn back on once you go to a community lot or you re-enter the lot. If you want to hide it forever, then you can find mods for that. Bullprop use shaders true. This thing allows some extra graphic effects in the game, such as fish appearing in ponds and in fish tanks, and pool water looking more realistic. In my case, this cheat also solved a problem that I had in my create a sim, where my sims will look oversaturated, like literally glowing. But this cheat may not work very well with all graphics cards, so if you're experiencing issues because of it, you should turn it off. And the last one I have for you is, again, for a bit more of realism. Bullprop don't merge and age floor of false makes it so that you can see more of the neighborhood decoration from lot view when you're playing a household. So it makes you feel more like your environment is alive and is actually there. Just one of the tools that makes The Sims 2 a little bit less like you're playing in an abyss. But wait, I have just one more for you. Do you know how annoying it is when you misspell a cheat once and then for the rest of your gaming session, the cheat window just won't minimize itself? Well, just type X into the cheat bar and press enter. And that should do the trick. So that's basically it. Those were the cheats that I just couldn't play the game without today. I hope you were able to take away one or two new ones you may not have known about before from this video. If you found any of it useful, maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe also consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you another time.